Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise this morning to speak in support of this bill, and I'd like to say that my one colleagues have made some excellent points on why this bill should be supported. What I'd like to do, and in my few moments, is talk about maybe a couple issues that people haven't addressed so far. The first is I don't think it's just about keeping seniors at home. It's also about keeping seniors safe at home. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why I think it's important in that regard. And then I want to spend a few minutes just dealing with some of the criticisms that the other side have made for the bill. So when I talk about it's more than just about keeping seniors at home, I'm kind of drawing on my experiences as an insurance agent in rural Alberta, where as part of my job, I inspected hundreds of homes, and many of them belonging to seniors. And we have to inspect homes for insurance purposes. So we're looking basically, what is the likelihood of this house burning down? What is the likelihood of having a liability issue? So, for example, somebody falls down the cellar stairs and breaks their neck. And so on. We also look to issues like, is there going to be any degradation of the house because of, faulty roof, things like that. And, going out and inspecting, some of these farms in, in my area, some of them, they were just, these are really, they created some real moral dilemmas for me as an agent. Because, you go to a property that, maybe 20, 30 years before been in good condition, had been degraded, very considerably, and you'd have maybe an old widow staying in the house by herself and in unsafe conditions, but without the funds available to be able to make the necessary repairs. But, and this is true of a lot of our rural folks, too stubborn to actually move, right? And so the dilemma would be, well, what do I do? Do I put in a fair, do I put in an accurate evaluation of the property and see this poor person's insurance get canceled because the home is in fact uninsurable? Or do I try and work with the family and work for other means to try and get it up? And so I think it's a real misnomer for people to think that this is an issue about whether the person's going to be going in the home or staying in their house. A lot of these seniors are going to be staying in their homes regardless, and this is just one more tool that we can have in our quiver to make sure that they have the funds available to be safe, right? To replace that outdated electrical breaker box, to repair the roof so you don't have leakage and then you're getting black mold and issues like that. To put on the railings for going down into the cellar or decreasing it. And so I think it's really important that way. And in that sense, we already have people that are living in dangerous circumstances. And so I think sooner the better. And also I think another reason that sooner is better is because this is the ideal time for this type of program. And why is that? Well, we're in a situation where, unlike just a few years ago, you have contractors that are looking for work and who are prepared to do that work at very reasonable rates. And I think this actually does speak as well to the member from Calgary-Shaw's concerns about communication and uptake. Is that right now we actually would have a very motivated group of people to inform seniors about the existence and availability of the program. And these would be the contractors that are looking for work. So, so I think that kind of addresses some of those concerns. And just to, step back for some of the concerns expressed by the official opposition about a lot of it being left to regulations. I'm having some difficulty quite understanding their argument because it seems like they're saying two contradictory things. The one thing is they're saying is that, well, we can't trust the government to put these, through its regulations. We need to have this all in legislation because it all has to be up front. Now, of course, when you do that, legislation, we have to come back before the House in order to change it. It's something that's very difficult to change on the fly, to adjust for circumstances and that type of thing. And so that's the one concern. Put everything up front, and then the second concern, well, what happens if, there's changes in home equity, if the value of homes in particular neighborhoods decrease? What happens if the interest rate goes down? And you have all these variables. And so how do you have bills or acts that can actually adjust for things that are variable? Well, you put them in the regulations so they can be adjusted as need be. So there's for those types of reasons that I think that this bill does make a lot of sense, and it makes a lot of sense to do now. Now, we do have a consultation period, as the minister has stated, from now until July 1st, and there'll be plenty of opportunities, I think, for seniors and other associated stakeholders to have a chance to work with. So, I'm in favor of this bill, and I really appreciate the minister for thinking of our seniors and doing our best for them, while at the same time not imposing undue burdens on the taxpayer. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.